bought a Starlink from JB Hi-Fi. It was on sale for $274. It wasn't the Mini. It was the Gen 3 Standard, which this bad boy here that I bought, and it's going to go on the roof. Now, there are lots of mounts out there, and they all vary in price as well. Most of them are pretty, expensive, but surprisingly, for 120 bucks, Starlink had a roof rack mount as well, which is this here, which is what I've got here, which I'll show you first, because when I did turn up at home, I did open it and then try to see if it fitted on the roof rack, because mine's a Tracklander wire roof rack. So I thought I'd give it a go. Right, so I actually get the card with the install instructions on it. It's actually quite detailed, but otherwise it's pretty self-explanatory. This is the part that hooks it into the in my case, the roof rack. If you've got a Pioneer rack, for example, where you can put T-slots in, you can quite easily not use this, just use the T-slots into that. So this is the mount that sits inside the Starlink itself, from what I understand. Finn's, oh, good boy, mate, lay down. Good boy, Finn. So, he's there. So I'm going to install that onto the back of the Starlink, and then this will sit on the roof rack like so. It does come with the bolts required and the an Allen key to do up those bolts, and then you get a very long Allen key with a handle on it to tighten up the Starlink that'll sit into here, so you'll tighten them up. It's actually quite good. This is all for 120 bucks. This is alloy, maybe. It's light. It is actually really well made, but for 120 bucks, I was actually quite impressed with it. Yeah, really impressed. So I'm going to install that today onto the roof, and then I am going to put the Starlink into this as well, which I'm going to do. I'll just put this back into here so you can see how it goes in. Then I've managed to open the box up. There's the Starlink itself. It is massive. It is a huge disc. Let's put that down here on the ground. And then what else we got? Oh yeah, white card, sorry. Power supply, which I'm not going to use. You will see that shortly how I'm going to power it. The router, which I'm going to work out whether it goes in here, and the cable. Obviously, I could power this through an inverter if I needed to. However, I've got a power supply system that'll work quite well instead of it. And we'll go from there. So the power supply for this one here won't get used at all. Let's see if this screen's working. Yep. So this one here won't get used at all, but it will go into the van with the power supply cable as well if I need to move it. So I'll put this down here with a box in the meantime. Right, and then the cable I have here, I am going to buy a second one as well. It is, it's like 15 meters. It's quite long. I don't need it in here, but the way I've set this up is I should be able to take some of it out, stick it on the roof. That'll come apparent a bit later. Right, so we'll stick that down here on the box as well. Right, and then the router is probably going to sit down here, potentially down that point in there, where I've got power supply that will be in here as well. That's where I'm going to put it. And then these two bad boys here Cool. Right, so that's that part of it done. It's actually quite easy to do. Tighten it up. The back mount here, if you can see that, it actually moves forward, so it's adjustable, which is good. Screw these down finger tight. Make sure these bad boys are super tight. I haven't put any Loctite on them. Probably should. The only thing I'm worried about is that this part of the mount here is touching on the roof. I could probably slide it over maybe. Well, I've moved the mount over, not far, it's just enough to get away from the ridge line here and the roof itself, but I've moved the mount over and it now sort of sits into that spot there. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then what I'm going to do now is put the cable into the back of, feed the cable through here on this, and then connect the cable up, and then I'll put the Starlink into here, slide it on, and then tighten it up with these screws so it doesn't come off, and then I'll run the cable down through off the side of the roof rack down here to the sides, jump off, down the side, and then in through here somewhere and into the back of this. Righto, so the cable runs through there. We'll push that back in through that point there. I need longer arms, or a ladder, or both. And then it's into here. This has got the waterproof. It is like so. So here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. I just need to rotate the dish. Oh no, just rotate the dish. Righto. I'm going to get this bad boy here, which is what comes with a kit as well. It's actually quite handy. And then screw that in tight. Into there. Right, that's on there, it's not coming off, and there is a bit of clearance there that I can see between the roof rack and the Starlink dish itself, so I'm not too worried about vibrations on the dish, you know, coming through the roof rack. Yeah, happy days. I can't believe they give that to you like that, you know, it's the whole thing, it's excellent. Right. Next step is running the cable. Now, where I am today, I actually don't think I've got any zip ties with me, so I have to do that when I get home. But for the meantime, I'll just put the cable back in its packaging like that, and it's just going to sit down in there somewhere. And the modem, the power supply I'm going to install into here, which will probably be done tomorrow. Won't be done today because of where I am currently. That's the connection for the base of this, which is that point there. It's going to go in, and that's the power supply, which I'll do now. If I can hold this up here, I really need a couple of mounts, like so, like that. Right. Happy with that. I just need to, obviously I just need to tidy this up, which I'll do when I get home. I am a bit worried about that. It's sit there, I suppose. I don't know if that's going to affect it or not. I'm worried about this cable coming into here. I want it to sort of sit into that point like so, like that, and then in. I don't know if that's going to affect it or not. It's on seal, so it doesn't seem to connect rubber against it. It seems all right up here. It's good. Right, the rest of this I'm going to do at home. Power supply and the 12-volt power supply, and finish off how I'm going to fix the router into here with probably some Velcro. I don't have a bracket to mount it to, and I'll probably push the rest of this cable down behind the seat as well, back of the main seat. Right, so there's a couple of ways to power the Gen 3 Starlink from your car, and the first one is that you could use something like a Cosmo. A Cosmo Mini won't work because it's a Gen 3. A Cosmo Mini is more suitable for the Starlink Mini. Cosmo, and there are other options out there. I did see one the other day for 120 bucks somewhere online. It might have been Amazon or Alibaba or something. But I was searching the Starlink website and I found that they do a 12-volt DC to DC power supply unit. It does talk about 56 volts here on the back of it and how many amps. So I think the maximum amps is like 3.5 amps. 56 volts, 3.57 amps is what it says on here. And the input is 12 volt to 48 volt. So if you have a 24 volt system in your rig, you could still use this to power your Starlink as well. So it's going to take my my 12 volt and then push it up, which is great. So that's what I'm going to use. I know where I'm going to mount it, which is I'll show you very shortly. The issue that I have, well, the problem you face, it's not so much an issue, the problem you face is that it comes with these connectors, and it's an XT or an XC60. I'll put the correct terminology, I'm pretty sure it's an XC60 connector, and there's both ends. The cable's about 1 metre long, so it's not quite long enough where I want to be able to connect it up to, and not being a 12 volt Sparky or an auto Sparky, I've come up with another way of doing it. So I could use a Cosmo to connect it in there, and I think they've got a connector that connects straight to this. Don't quote me on that, have to check it out yourself. Cut it off, as like I said before, power it straight up, or you can build your own relay and a switch and power it and put it into your 12 volt system that way, which is what I'm going to do. Because my memory is really poor, I did go and tinker around with it to make sure that I had all the bits properly, and then what I had wired up was correct. So don't go judging just yet. I haven't finished what I'm going to do yet. So this is very temporary, what I've got. So I've got my switch, which is not wired up correct. It is wired up correctly, but there's no actual connectors. This is all just me testing stuff yesterday as well. And then I've got my relay. The relay I bought from Jayco and the switch I bought from Jayco come with the, what do you want to call this part of it here? Come with that and these leads. It's a 4-pin relay, 4-pin 12 volt relay, and it works. So today's plan is to tidy this up and install it into the car and tidy it up, because it's just an absolute spider's web down here. This is the connector that will connect straight onto the, let's see if I can put this down on the ground, onto that cable up here. This cable, so these two here will connect, and it's well marked on here, and as well as on the connector from Jayco. I'll hold it up there if you can see that. And you just solder the connections on, which is what I've done there, just soldered them. They come in a packet of 2, so if I stuffed one up, at least I had a spare. And they just connect like so. And that's it, so they're connected. And I was getting power to the end of this cable yesterday, which I checked with my multimeter. Righto, let's get into where I'm going to mount and how I'm going to mount that power supply. I'll put the cable in, and then we'll slowly but surely wire it up as we go. Right, because of where the 12 volt DC to DC power supply was, I wasn't real happy with it. So, and the way I'd mounted it, I wasn't real happy with either. So I went online and found a company called Outcamp in South Australia, in Kapunda, and they 3D print these holders for them. So they do a couple of holders, one for the 12 volt DC to DC, this bad boy here, and then also do one for the router, which I bought. They were $65 with plus another $8 in postage. I'll see if I can keep talking without Finn interrupting me. So anyway, so where I was going to mount the 12 volt DC to DC power supply is a bit small for me to get in there and actually physically mount this. So I have decided to mount it behind the back seat. I'm going to hold this up here somewhere. In here, roughly around there. And then run the cable up into the back area. And then power it that way. And then I'll also show you what I got for the modem. Right, that's 2 screws in. I don't think I'm going to need the top 2. It's a maybe. Okay, let's in there. Let's get started. Righto, that's that mounted. Let's see if I can get the 12 volt power supply. I need a cord to go that way. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Easy. That's not coming out. Righto, so I've installed that part in the back and I have run the cables through, back again through here, and the connection. Pretty happy with that so far. Right, so the next step is to install this part here, which is the router holder, and then connect it in. So I'm just going to screw this bad boy down. You can actually mount it on a wall like so, because there are 3 screw holes, or you can mount it on a base plate or a floor or something, which I'm going to do. So I've got 3 screws, and I'll do that. Push it all the way back. Make sure it's straight. Well, I want to push it all the way back there because underneath of that is the electrics circuits themselves. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is feed the cables through, like so, and connect them up to the router, modem, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, what is it called nowadays? Does anyone know? A router, is it? And push that into here. Bingo, she's in. Look at that, nice and tight. That's not going to go anywhere either. That's pretty good. I should get a good fair bit of range out of that. Let's tidy up this cable down here at the back. Push that through down there, down the sides. This cable that comes in off the roof up here from the dish itself runs up through here. Got a bit of Velcro up here at the moment, and then it's zip tied, which I just need to tidy up, and then down. And any excess is tucked up underneath the batteries themselves. This has taken me about 6 goes to get this out. Finn's been trying to feed his way through the fire pit over there, but now he's in trouble. He's laying down. Hopefully he'll stay there while I try and get this bit out. Righto, so the Starlink is actually working well. We've got a fair bit of cloud cover currently. I'm getting about 215 to 220 megabytes per second download and about 35 to 40 megabytes upload, which I'm pretty happy with considering the amount of cloud cover we've got. The overall cost, which I'll run through now quickly off the top of my head, the Starlink itself, the Gen 3, was $274. I bought it on sale from JB Hi-Fi. The reason I went with the Gen 3 was purely cost. It's cheaper than the Mini. Everybody wants the Mini, and that's really hard to get at the moment as well. It's 2 to 4 weeks, and there's not really too many sales on it either. So it's cost. I mounted the Starlink router in the back here, and the DC-DC with out camp mounting brackets, and they were $65 for the both of those, plus another $8 in postage and handling. I got some bits and pieces from J-Car Automotive as well, J-Car Electronics, and that was about $30 in there as well. And the DC to DC power supply was $180. I know Troy from Journey Unknown, who initially did this, is what keyed me onto doing it this way. He bought a mount, which I bought the same mount, and which is $120. The DC to DC power supply was $180. Troy from Journey Unknown, go and have a look at his videos. He bought one from Outcamp for $120, which is actually a pretty good price. And I think some of them even got a remote control, so you can turn them on and off as well. So actually, you're pretty happy with it the way it's been set up. Apart from my silicon skills of where the cable comes in through the rear light at the top up here, my skills up in this here were pretty rough in silicon, and it was an absolute battle to get it through the roof lining, and it goes in through here and down the right hand side and underneath the seat. I've got loads and loads of cable, so it works pretty well. Other than that, would I do this again? Yes. I'd make a few changes. I'd probably buy the Outcamp power supply unit, but other than that, it works. Righto, that's it for this episode. Thanks very much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Hooroo! I didn't want to pay $600 for Starlink Mini and then another $200 or $300 for a mount to sit on the roof rack, and that's what I didn't want to do. This does look like a disaster, doesn't it? You'd be like, what have you done? Trust me, there are days that I don't know what I've done either.